Coming up, we're going to talk about the tight end room and how they can improve and help this offense improve next on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jay, the tight end room on offense is probably the position that I would say needs to improve the most given recent history. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Bowe Sharp was bad. Bowe Sharp was put in a position where he was expected to be your number one target because of all the injuries, when he really should have been maybe your fourth or fifth option in the passing game. So he was solid for what he was asked to do. He was just asked to do way too much. Still, you go back to the 2023 season with Austin Stogner, it was not good. So they need to have, as a group, a much better season than what we've seen each of the last 2 years, both as a receiver and as a blocker.
Yeah, and you'll catch me on record saying this once and once again that I would have liked to have kept Bowe Sharp. I would have liked to have kept him on the roster because he's going to be a fantastic fifth or sixth option for somebody.
Mm-hmm. And this offense right now would have been really good.
Right. And right now it's LSU, and they're going to definitely benefit from him as a fifth or sixth option. Why? Because he's not going to be required to have the ball. He's going to be someone that people are going to have to respect because they've been able to see his athleticism and what he could do. But now it looks like we may have replaced that with our guy, Jaren Kanak, in the tight end room. He, rumor has it, based upon some of the practice reports that's coming out on the social medias and or whatnot and stuff that's been sent to me, is he looks good. But he was also an athletic freak on the offensive side of the ball when he was in high school. If you go back and watch his high school tape, he trucks people and runs people over and pushes them down and he keeps going. There's one tape of him scoring a touchdown where I think he ran over 7 people to get to the end zone. And he kept hitting people, pushing them down, hitting, boom, 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 and he just literally caught it and was gone. That's what we can expect, maybe not the running over people a lot, but you can expect him to be very productive at tight end, especially because he's a willing blocker. He likes hitting people. And he even said it himself in some of the interviews that one of the biggest things is that no matter how many hours he put in, how much time he trained, it just linebacker just wasn't sticking and it just wasn't working out. And so he realized that, he recognized it, he acknowledged it. And when he went in and talked to the coach, he said, it's just not coming to me. So I'm ready to try something different. And boom, he's now playing tight end, and he may end up being one of your top guys, even like an H-back role, right? Having a guy that, can come in and is a willing blocker, someone can go in the flats, and he's still fast. Remember, I think he ran like a 10.400. So he's very fast. Yeah. John, that was his biggest problem at linebacker was he was running to the wrong spot really, really fast. And so he couldn't make it up like you would like, but I think he's going to be a threat at tight end and at least give us some additional competencies that we've been needing.
Yeah, I love this quote from him. He says, "I've been an offensive guy my whole life. Getting this opportunity now to do that again, catch balls and have fun and block and all that stuff, it's a great opportunity. I probably didn't start thinking about it real seriously until this last year because it almost felt like if I would have done it in the first few years, that's like giving up. I wanted to be able to maximize and say that I fully actually gave the linebacker thing a shot. And I feel like it's just like anything. If you're working towards something hard or trying a new position, you're going to have struggles. So it was a battle between trying to decide, are these the bumps and bruises that come along with becoming a great player at linebacker, or is this God telling me this is not where I'm supposed to be?" Yeah, and then this one right here, I've given so much to this program and built these relationships for 3 years now. I just have such tight ties and such a deep love for what it means to be a Sooner, what it means to play football here. How can you not be rooting for this guy? Like, this is like Jaren Kanak probably went from somebody who was in a lot of Oklahoma Sooner fans' doghouse, if we're going to be quite frank, to potentially could be a fan favorite and be one of those guys that goes down in Oklahoma Sooner fandom lore as like, yeah, Jaren Kanak, that was my guy. Like, especially if he can go and have a significant role at tight end and make some catches and make some big time plays and have a nice season at tight end and be productive, it's really possible he could completely flip the script on his Oklahoma Sooner career because of some of these comments that he's making, but also just the ability. Dude, the guy has insane ability. And honestly, this is part of the reason why Cam Scatterbo had to go to Sacramento State before getting to Arizona State. Very few teams were going to allow Jaren Kanak to play running back at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
At the FBS level, at the Power 5 level. And so he kind of had to make a switch if he wanted to go Power 5. It sucks, but that's the reality of the world that we live in, unfortunately. But the dude's got all the athleticism in the world to be a dynamic playmaker on offense.
And that's what's fascinating about that, John, if you really think about it. I mean, let me pull this up really quick. I have the roster in front of me. Jaren Kanak comes in now that he's moved to I forgot they moved him to tight end. He's 6'2", 230 pounds. John, tell me what running back you wouldn't mind having on your roster that's 6'2", 230 pounds, or 220 when he came in. That's a very nice size running back. Why would you ever pass on somebody like that? And for him, it was he wanted to play linebacker. He wanted to give that a shot, and they saw that he's a willing hitter, and so that's kind of a little bit better, to play linebacker than it would be playing in the backfield for him. But at that size, you're right. I mean, Cam Scatterbo had to go somewhere else in order to get the opportunity, and Jaren Kanak kind of had to as well. Well, now we're going to get to see him. We actually may see him in some end arounds. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing him at his speed and power in an end around. Give me something, toss him a screen and have him run, because he's built for that. That is what Jaren Kanak is built for. And like he said, even in an interview, he's always been an offensive guy. And so at this point for Jaren Kanak, this is an opportunity for not only redemption of him not really working out as linebacker, but you're right. He can end up being a fan favorite, and he should. He's talked about how much he just loved this program, and he's never even thought about transferring. Like, I've heard so many people tell me, well, Jaren Kanak's going to hit the portal. I'm like, really? What makes you think that? Oh, I mean, he's just not working out there. He's going to enter the portal. I was like, who told you that? Well, I mean, I understand reading the tea leaves and thinking you're reading tea leaves, but the one thing to understand about Jaren Kanak, and he told you, he loves this place. And I knew that he loved BV and that there was no chance that he was going to hit the portal or they were going to force him to portal. I could totally see them keeping him around just to play special teams, just because he's got that kind of talent. But they're trying to find a way to maximize all that talent. And this might be it.
I think, I don't want to completely oversell the idea of him.
Yeah.
He is a little bit undersized. You probably want your tight ends to be 245 to 250 in the SEC in particular. He's a little bit short. You're generally looking at 6'4", 6'5" for guys that can go be NFL tight ends. But he could just be a do-it-all kind of a player, like in the, Trey Millard, Dimitri Flowers, that H-back role. And to be honest, let him return some kicks. Just get him the ball somehow, some way. These tight end flat passes that coaches love to run, where you're running that play action bootleg, who better to get it to than freaking Jaren Kanak, and let him get out in space and take on a cornerback out in the flat. Please. That is going to be money. If you want to run a tight end screen with anybody, run it with that dude. I hate the tight end screen. Absolutely hate it. If I was an offensive coordinator, it would be nowhere near my playbook, because you're giving it to one of your least athletic skill players and expecting him to gain positive yardage out of that. And I feel like it works 1 time out of 10. But if you're going to do it with somebody, do it with somebody that's got 10-5, 100-yard dash speed and athleticism like Jaren Kanak.
I'll take 2.
Could he be a breakout player of the year? Who knows? But, man, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch his progression this offseason and through the 2025 season. What's not fun? We got some commitment drama, recruitment drama coming up next year on Locked On Sooners.